With the worst inflation rate in Asia, record energy prices, mass protests, and an increase in terrorist attacks, Pakistan is an endless crisis. It's one of the most populous countries in the world, and its problems will have consequences far beyond its borders. With its economy sinking, the people have no other options but to move out for better opportunities. Once hailed as a country that could be an economic rival to its neighbor India, Pakistan now struggles to keep up with it in almost every sector. During the early 2000s, Pakistan showed significant progress in its economic development, with GDP rates averaging around 7% every year. Important industries like telecommunications, agriculture, and manufacturing saw expansion, bringing in money from other countries and creating more jobs. Fast forward to 2024, Pakistan's economy is in a quicksand, going from bad to worse every minute. Pakistan's annual inflation hit a record level of 36.5%, the highest ever increase in the last 60 years. It has become extremely difficult for the average Pakistan citizen to make a good living for themselves, to pay the bills, to pay for food and education. Pakistan was growing, but unfortunately the country faced setbacks due to political instability, security concerns, and natural disasters, which blocked sustained growth. But how did Pakistan's economy fall into such a crater of disasters? This is the dark side of Pakistan, a crisis with no end in sight. So how did Pakistan's financial situation become a mess? Well, one of the things hurting Pakistan's economy is because their imports are far more than their exports, especially since the Ukraine-Russia war, when the prices for everything, including oil, went sky high. Pakistan paid for expensive oil imports from its foreign currency reserves, which started to run out. Within months, Pakistan was already on the brink of default. However, in June 2023, after long negotiations from both sides, Pakistan succeeded in clenching another $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund (IMF). It had to cut government subsidies in order to qualify for the loan. All of a sudden, electricity and fuel prices went up. This only made it more difficult for a common man to manage his household budget. This situation led many young and brilliant minds to exit the country for a better future. In June 2023, many Pakistanis paid to reach Europe illegally, but ended up drowning on the coast of Greece. Apart from reaching out to the IMF for loans, Pakistan is also going to the richer countries asking for help. It has now set up a special investment facilitation council. This council isn't headed by any economic expert or government official, but by the military itself, in hopes of attracting more foreign investments in the country. However, Pakistan has very little to offer right now for investors to come and invest. Even Saudi Arabia, which has supported Pakistan many times in the past, has refused to give any bailouts in the future. One major issue in Pakistan is its very low tax to GDP ratio. According to the IMF, if your tax to GDP ratio is less than 50%, you can't really operate effectively to cover public services and government spending as needed, and Pakistan in that regard stands at just 9.2%. Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, was asked if Pakistan's debt is sustainable. She said, "It is sustainable, but it is borderline sustainability. But you see, international loans, a lack of good decisions, and an educated workforce aren't the only reasons for the mess Pakistan's economy has become. Other major reasons have also contributed to it. Everything Pakistan's going through right now might be a result of a change one man thought of bringing, and his name was Imran Khan. As you know, Pakistan has had a history of corrupt politicians, promising their country the world before coming into power, and running away with everything after. Imran Khan, a former Pakistan cricket superstar, founded his political party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, on one mission. He promised to eradicate corruption from the country and govern the country like it's never been governed before. His message resonated strongly with a new group of supporters, especially among the younger generation. Additionally, he had support from the military. To many, he appeared as a political savior, particularly to the urban middle class. However, some skeptics question whether he could fulfill the promises he made. However, things took a turn as their mutual admiration went sour. Imran Khan, from the military's perspective, became a little too arrogant. They disagreed with his anti-Western talk and his support for Russia during the Ukraine conflict. The breaking point came when Khan clashed with the army chief over military appointments in April 2022. He was removed from power through a no-confidence vote. Although the vote passed, Khan refused to leave quietly and started a campaign for early elections with street protests. However, the military responded with force, aiming to suppress the political movement it once supported. As of 2024, Khan is in jail over multiple cases, such as the Cypher case, in which he reportedly leaked official government information related to the talks with the United States, terrorism, and blasphemy. But shouldn't the military be doing military things? Why are they involved in politics? To understand this whole situation, we have to go to the very beginning. Pakistan, founded as a democracy, has seen several years of direct military rule. And when you throw a government out and bring in military rule that's quick, the economy gets hit big time. Not a single prime minister in the history of Pakistani politics has completed a full 5-year term, even though many of them came from the two biggest political parties in the country, the Pakistan People's Party and Pakistan Muslim League. You see, Pakistan's military has a history of intervening when they believe civilian governments have failed. It's been almost 25 years since Pakistan last experienced military rule, when Pervez Musharraf ousted an elected government. Since then, Pakistan has evolved into what some call a hybrid regime, blending elements of both civilian and military control. When you dive deep into Pakistan's military, you'll find that it is more than just defense and politics. It's a major player in the economy, with commercial assets of over $20 billion. Its interests often shape the country's agenda, sometimes overshadowing civilian authority. Despite this influence, countries like the US still want to maintain relationships with Pakistan, although carefully. Pakistan Army's interference in the country's politics has been there since its very creation, and it continues to influence decisions from behind the curtains. Many experts say this interference stops overall progress in the country, but others argue that it's only institution. Time is running out for Pakistan, and although we know it is so big of a country to fall like this, the people of Pakistan aren't so hopeful. Surely Pakistan will make it out of this, but the question is, when?